Hello and welcome to my channel, Designer of Learning. My name is Grace and I am a second grade teacher. Tonight we are having Meet the Teacher night at my school and I cannot wait to meet my 23 second graders. It is so exciting to make these first connections, to meet students and their families. And I want to share with you the things that I do to help tonight run smoothly and to feel like it's all about connections and anticipation for the first day of school. Thank you so much for watching and let's get started. The first tip that I have for Meet the Teacher is to have a system that helps your students and their families walk through all the tasks you want them to accomplish without you needing to be there to answer a lot of questions. Because I want tonight to be about making those connections, and I want to be able to be present at my door to greet families and then to acknowledge when they leave how grateful I am for them coming and taking the time to get to know me and to drop off their supplies. And so in order to have a very smooth Meet the Teacher, I begin my Meet the Teacher by having a slide that shows my families what they need to accomplish during this night. And so it has them walking through the first, next, and last steps for their back to school Meet the Teacher night. I personalize this screen by adding my Bitmoji because I think it just makes it all the more fun for my students. At their desk, I have a back to school checklist as the very first form that they see. And this is a step-by-step direction of all the places where their supplies go and also all the forms that they need to fill out either here before they leave or the forms that they can take home with them and bring back on Thursday. So let's walk through what they have at their student desks. This is what my student desks look like for Meet the Teacher. I've covered over any personal information with Post-it notes, but you can see that each student has a name tag with a corresponding class number. They also have a supply box that I provide each of my students. There's a Ziploc bag and a little treat that students get to take home at the end of the night that is a blow pop, and it has a tag that says, "Thanks for popping in." And then I have a pile of forms and papers. The first form that they see is a back to school checklist. This will be a friendly guide to help make sure that families have completed all the steps for Meet the Teacher. I first have my students sort their supplies. I find that having parents and students sort their supplies together on Meet the Teacher night is so helpful for me because then when we have our first day of school, we can focus on the learning and the connections. After they've sorted their supplies, then they will see that there is a Ziploc bag on their desk because not all the supplies will fit inside their desk. And so they'll put extra markers and crayons and pencils in the Ziploc bag that has their name and their class number. When they finish filling up their Ziploc bag, they'll zip it up and then put it at the bottom of their locker. This way, throughout the year, if a student ever runs low on a supply, they can check their Ziploc bag and pull out an extra that they brought with them in August. On this checklist, it also has parents filling out particular forms. Some of those forms they will leave with me at the end of the night. Some forms they actually can fill out at home and bring back on Thursday. I have a coloring page for my second graders. That way, while their guardian is working on filling out the forms, they have a project to work on. So after the Meet the Teacher checklist, my second grade families will see a Meet the Teacher letter from me. I listed some of my favorite things in hopes that I have some connections with my students. I also have an About Me that has both information about where I went to college and how long I've been teaching, as well as more personal facts about myself. And then I have contact information. That way parents and families know how to get a hold of me. Underneath my Meet the Teacher letter, I have a student information paper. And this is something I want parents to fill out and turn in before the end of the night. They also have a page that has student transportation. You'll see that I highlighted how their child is getting home on the first day of school, and then I have a different box for how they will get home the rest of the year. I like having this information by the end of the night because then I can start filling out my transportation slide that I have for my back to school packet. And then I also make a personal copy so that I have a paper form with all of my students' ways of getting home. And this just gives me some reassurance that when we finish our first day of school, every child will safely get home to the proper place in the proper way. After the student transportation form is filled out, they'll turn it into me, and I have a fun coloring page for students to work on. So while mom and dad are busy on the student transportation and the student information, the child can be working on coloring this cute page that says, "Goodbye summer, hello second grade." And I have a version that says, "Goodbye summer, hello first grade, third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade" as well. Underneath this coloring page is a final page on their desk, and this is a student survey. And I want students to be able to work on filling this out with their families. And so this is a paper that I tell my families they can take home with them, and then I would love for them to bring it back on our first day of school. This information helps it create those personal connections for me. So as I learn about my students' likes and also about their family, it paints a bigger picture of what motivates this student and what makes them excited. So that is the very last form that I give to my students. And at the very bottom of my Meet the Teacher Back to School checklist, I have a reminder for them to take home their treat, because sometimes after all of that important work, it can be easy to forget taking home certain things. And so I have that last gentle reminder. Once all of these things have been accomplished, then families are free to pack up and either, if they're done for the night, go home, or they might have another child's classroom to visit. And so I enthusiastically say goodbye to each family and thank them so much for coming. Now I'm going to talk to you about where I put supplies that don't fit in the Ziploc bag or in their desk. So most of the student supplies will fit either in their desk or fit inside that Ziploc bag that will have extra supplies. And that Ziploc bag will go inside of their locker. So if they run low on pencils or crayons, they know to go to their locker and to get a replacement from their own stash of supplies. But I have some things that I keep, and those are things like tissue boxes and cleaning wipes and dry erase markers. And so I have parents and students sort those supplies on my teacher table during Meet the Teacher. Something else that I do is I have 2 paper trays by my door. That way, when parents leave at the end of Meet the Teacher after sorting their supplies, they have a reminder that they need to return the student transportation page and the student information page to me before the end of our Meet the Teacher time. Well, that was a very quick run through of all the things that I do for Meet the Teacher night. If you are interested in the things that I use in my classroom for Meet the Teacher, I will have my Meet the Teacher packet listed in the description below. It will include the slides that you see, the papers that you see, and the forms, as well as the fun tags that I had on the blow pops that said, "Thanks for popping in." Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a phenomenal school year with your students. Remember that you are making a difference every day.
Suddenly I'm seeing everything so different, like I'm looking at the world through a brand new lens. Every shade of green and blue, and it's all because of you. I'm seeing everything. You make me wanna celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate tonight.